Well, hello all, welcome back to the Purple Rain Podcast, and it is your first recap for the 2026 PWHL roster building process. Was it distribution? I say today the two mixed up, so I keep saying it's roster building, then at the same time on the league's official site they say distribution, and I'm like, well, the two mean the same thing. I'm just going to stick to roster building. I've started now, may as well carry on. But welcome to your first recap on the process to build the rosters for PWHL Detroit, PWHL Las Vegas, PWHL Hamilton, and PWHL San Jose. To put in context, we are recording this on the 4th of June, 2026. It's just gone well past 6 o'clock in the UK. So just 2 hours to go until the expansion teams must submit their target lists. Oh yes, not to go there. With each of these recap episodes, they will be recorded and then published on the same day. That's why we'll give a time stamp there, just we're recording it and then it's going to be so this will be up in your feeds before the end of the day. So phase 1 was just simply for the current 8 teams, so Boston, Minnesota, Montreal, New York, Ottawa, Seattle, Toronto, and Vancouver. I missed that one out. I think Boston, Minnesota, Montreal, New York, Ottawa, Seattle, Toronto, Vancouver. Yeah, there you go. All eight. So all 8 current teams. This was just for them. It was their opportunity to basically create their protection lists. Reminder, each team could protect 3 players, and if any player was signed during this period, that automatically counted as one of their 3 protection lists. List selections, that's what I'll say. Yeah. Okay, so, we just had a little debate, didn't we, about what we're going to do, because obviously, we did this last year. The lists came out like an hour before we were due to record. So it meant that all 3 of us didn't see the list beforehand. It meant that we could do like an on-air live reaction. But because of the way the timers worked this time around, we did decide, do we want to do that again, or should we just look at them regardless? And we decided we'll look at them regardless. So, yeah, so we were up the very early hours of the morning last night, waiting for those lists to come. And there were quite a few shock reactions from us, with some of them. But the big takeaway is for the second year in a row, we pretty much got the majority of these selections correct. I'm clearly in the wrong game here. Never mind acting and podcasting. I should be doing a GM role. Never mind me being a performer. I'm clearly in the wrong game. That's 2 years in a row I've got them spot on. 2 years in a row. I even counted. There was like 15 picks that we made that were correct. It was quite astounding, really. Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna go through it team by team, and we'll just talk you through them all. And go and give you our thoughts on them. Okay. So that's right. So we're going to do it in alphabetical order, by the way, guys. So we're going to start with Boston. And with the Boston fleet, we got all 3 correct! I'm so glad that we managed to get a second team correct, because last year we got so close with some others. So I'm really glad that we've got a second team correct, because we all know who Montreal was going to protect. Yeah. So all 3 that we said on our list were protected by Boston. So the fleet chose to protect Megan Keller, Hayley Wynn, and Av Frankel, and all 3 of them on our protection list. If you haven't seen them yet, you can go on my Instagram account at George D. Hand if you want to check out the list in full. Or of course, check the episode that we did on it, but it's quite a lengthy one. So if you've not got 2.5 to spare, go and look it on my Instagram. The lists are all up there. Okay? So Boston went with the 3 most impactful players of their 2025-26 campaign, including Eric Frankel, who's up for Goaltender of the Year and MVP, Haley Wynn, who was nominated for both Rookie and Defender of the Year, and Megan Keller, who was nominated for Defender of the Year. It leaves players like Alina Muller, Jessie Elbridge, and Sadata Pani exposed for the next round, where all will draw significant interest. Now, I straight away have said for weeks now that there's no way Boston's keeping Eldridge. Now, you have said that. You have said you don't see a way for Boston to be able to hold on to Jessie Eldridge. You're standing by that. I am a bit shocked that Alina Muller is vulnerable, because I do think... I don't think she'll get an EFO, but I do think she would be high up there on a lot of teams' target list. So I was a bit surprised by that. Sadata well, they couldn't protect her last year and she somehow managed to survive, so I think she won't be fun. Yeah. I mean, I do worry about Alina Muller, because I know, obviously, she's a really good player. She had a great season, got a goal for Switzerland in the Bronze Medal game. Yep. Just like she did 12 years ago in Sochi. I'm not suggesting that means Switzerland's got to wait till 2038 for the next medal. But just the same person, I do worry. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she does go, and that would be a huge loss to Boston. But I think with these 3, it was obvious you had to protect these 3. I mean, Abby Newark will be an interesting one to see if she goes. Yeah. Well, I think for me, Newark is kind of a player that, while we would have loved to protect her, I think if she gets to phase 3 and still with the fleet, that we put her on the list. Yeah, we talked about that a lot. I think each of us had a player that we would have loved to protect in this first phase, but we couldn't. But we're kind of thinking, is it going to be there still there for phase 3 or England? Remember, in phase 3, you get a second go at doing protection lists, so that means we will be back again in a few days' time to do that all over again, and hopefully it will not be more aggressive than it was last time. Yeah. So Boston, I'm kind of not surprised that we got all 3 of those correct. I mean, it was kind of obvious. And I think what's been interesting as we're going to go along is pretty much almost every team has thought about protecting a netminder. Yeah, which is really good, because obviously now we've got 4 teams coming into the league this year. They're going to want to make sure they've got rock-solid netminding, especially if they're not having a troubling season like that Vancouver did. And I think for me, the biggest surprise about last year's expansion process was that both the Toronto Golden Knights, they didn't take a netminder in the expansion draft. They did it in the exclusive sign window. That was Vancouver with Maschmeyer and Seattle with Schroeder. But in the draft, there were still decent netminders up for grabs, but neither bit on that, and then basically held their hedges out to the entry draft. So I think it's really good because a lot of teams have realised, we actually might need to hold on to a netminder to protect. Because we've got 4 new teams coming in. They're going to want to get the best netminder available. So, really well thought. There was no doubt Franco was going anywhere. No doubt. No doubt about that whatsoever. So Boston's got 3 rock-solid protections there. Easy to call. And great to see they've learned the lesson from last year, not shot their captain. Round of applause for Boston! Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least someone's learnt from last year. Right. Let's move on to our frost. Now, we suggested both Heisey and Panic on our protection list. As basically as over our dead body. And then we really struggled with who should be that 3rd pick. We at the end of the day went with Grace Sunwinkle, but that was basically these 2 compromising for the fact that I was adamant we carved Ken on the list. Now, our Minnesota Frost protected Taya Heisey, Kelly Panic, and Maddie Rooney. Now, I don't think when we did the episode we really thought about that, did we? No, I think she was one of the players to considered, but of course, yeah, the Minnesota segment just ended up in fisticuffs. I'm surprised we managed to get that list put together at all. Yeah. But really good, because you do think if any expansion team was to go for Rockside Netminding, who do you go to? Us. I mean, we got so lucky last year that the tandem was not split up. And I really hope that Nicole Hensley somehow manages to stay with us. I mean, if she does make it to phase 3 with us, then I think you've got to go straight away and just lock her in, and we've got the tandem protected. Yeah. Because those are 2 Rockside Miners. The trust we have in both is brilliant. But clearly, Maddie Rooney. I'm actually not surprised they've got Maddie Rooney, because obviously she did basically get the lion's share towards that end of the season. Yeah! I mean, this time around the playoffs, Kingsley did not switch. Now, he did not switch. Now, he should have switched Netmires in Game 3, because obviously Game 2, was a triple overtime, and Game 3 and 4 were going to be back-to-backs. And of course, my rule when you come to Netmire, we're back to is if you don't put in the first night, you put in the second night. He didn't do that. So Man United card got more the lion's share. We got towards the latter end of the season. So I'm not surprised. But such relief for Kay Paddock, because obviously the season she's had, she really should be up there for MVP. Forget Franco, forget Desbian. Paddock is who should be getting that gong on June 16th. There you go. She's put... Do you want to put period on it, lady? Okay, fine. Period. Conversation, period. Right. And if she had been up there and was vulnerable to be taken, straight away, I know first thing would be like Claire Thompson and Jakes last year. Both of them gone on the first day. Within hours apart. Yeah. Would have been like that. Easy. Gone. Yeah. But I think really great we managed to find ways to keep Paddock and also High C. Well, High C was a no-no. Literally, High C was literally over my cold, dead body. I said it last year, I'm saying it this year. I mean, we absolutely love her. I mean, dare I say she's our favourite Frost player? Dare I say, maybe? Dare I say? So that was over our dead body. And of course, really tough to not put Candle Quest Open on. I didn't think it would do it. I honestly, for me, when we did the episode, I was feeling like, well, my heart loves Kendall, but my head is saying, in the long term, it might be time to move on. Because if we want to stay as a perennial playoff team and a perennial cup contender, we're gonna need to make these tough calls now. And unfortunately, it's the way he's coming. I'm afraid. I'll read you what's been said in the news article, which I'm going to do for all teams. Minnesota didn't have easy choices. You can say that again. Minnesota didn't have easy choices. But they signed the top 2 skate scorers in the PHL from last season, in Kelly Paddock and Taylor Heisey, while also following the path many teams have taken by protecting a netminder. And they've done it before with Maddie Rooney. Minnesota has abundance of free agents and unprotected talent who could be selected or signed in phase 2, including Captain Kirkwood Schofield, I know, who has been linked to PHL Detroit. Yeah. Free agents Lee Steckline and Grace Sunwinkle, and sign players like Kendall Cooper and Britta Carslemy. Take her! Take her! Take that bitch! Take that bitch away from us! Go on! Please, someone do it! Take that bitch away! Take that bitch! If any of the expansion teams does take Britta Carslemy, I will not be mean to you for your first ball season. Oh! I know I'm on the record, I know I'm being recorded, but I will do that. If any of the 4, what even Vegas? Yeah. If any of the 4 teams take Slemmy from us in this process, I will not be mean to you on this podcast for your first ball season. Even if you get a crap day, I will not be mean to you. Okay? We don't like her. We want her gone. It's not personal. It sort of is. It's not... Okay, yeah, it is. She's anti-LGBT. To you, that is personal, George. Okay, fair dues. That is personal. Okay, right, scratch that. It is personal. It is personal, but she's also a very aggressive player. Yeah. I mean, I'm never going to forget that moment in game 1 of this year's series between Montreal where all three of us actually made that hit and got spent, and all three of us just shouting at the top of our lungs, "You stupid cow!" I'm not going to forget that. Did you record the Flower Show? Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 I don't like the idea of Kendall going. I know. The Troy actually isn't that far from Chicago either, so yeah, so that could be a yeah. Yeah. I know. I feel like we were talking about this last night after the list came out, because I don't think us three thought that Melissa Caruso would have done it. We did it, but we are not the GM. We're not the one making the call. I do not want to imagine what that conversation must have to have been like, but yeah, I mean, if she does go at any point, so either phase 2 or phase 3, it will sting, and I imagine us three will all be crying because we love Kendall. She is just the reason I picked Minnesota. You know, back when the league was launched and they announced that, and each team announced their first 3 signings, she was the reason I ultimately went with Minnesota. Originally, I was going to hold out. Originally, I was going to hold out to the draft. Lady was causing herself headaches because she couldn't work out which team she was going to go with. And at that point, Pluto hadn't committed to joining us yet. No. I was roped in on the day of the 3 Asian sides being out, because that was when you said to Lady, I picked Minnesota, and she was like, right, there, Dick, have a quick word. Yep. Yeah. Our first event together as a trio was the inaugural entry draft back in 2023, which was in TO. That was our first event as a trio. So obviously me and Lady already knew we were going to join on day 1, and then the rest of the pack had to make their decision. And yeah. But obviously, that's going to be hard to see her go, but we knew it was going to happen eventually one day. At some point, Kendall is not going to be on the roster forever. So it's probably better if it's happened now. And then, yeah, I think for me as a business end, I think the time has come. But oh god, I don't want to think about it. Right. What do you make about Lee Steckline being probable? I'll be very surprised if she's not on team's target list. Because I think that was a big reason why we chose to protect her last year, was because I think a lot of people thought, oh, if she's up for grabs, she'll get taken straight away. Like how Stubby takes. Yeah, well, we obviously upped ours last year. Do we say Steckline, or do we say Jakes? Kind of in the back of our heads, that whoever we didn't say was highlighted going to get taken. And that, of course, was proven true, because obviously Jakes was taken not long after Thompson went. Yeah. Because Thompson was the first to go, and then a few hours later, Jakes went. It was like, oh! So, seriously, Kyle Garber, can you not let us pick our jaws to the floor, boss? Yeah. Kill it one go, you greedy hussy. Yeah. The problem is this time around, we're going to lose a lot more star talent than we did this time last year, okay? And we're ready for that. They just might be a lot more impactful than it originally is going to be. I mean, I think our GM Melissa Caruso clearly recognises what we recognise, which is a business decision. For the long term, it might be time to let Kendall go and move on, but it will not be easy if that gets announced. If it's Detroit or whoever it is, that will not be easy to handle. It will not be easy to handle. Yeah. So we just got 2 correct on Artist Frost. Again, it was another, like last year, it was another Zig we should have zagged moment. Anyway, let's move to Montreal, who of course surprised no one here. We got all 3 right. Poulin, Desbian, Stacey, all protected once again, just like last year. I think that's the most easiest we had to do, because I think straight away Osprey was like, yeah, there's no profit. Should we just get out last year's list and just write it all down again? But it's like, seriously, who is there gonna be that numbskull that chooses to separate Poulin and Stacey? I mean, could you imagine the conversations they would have to have at the kitchen table? Am I right? Just like, no. It was never going to happen. Especially how these three played a huge part in the Big 12 championship run this year. I'm not surprised they've been protected again. That's what I meant. And also, let's not forget, these three players all chose to take pay cuts to stay in Montreal. And who's laughing now? Yeah. Who is laughing now? Yeah, okay. We did an episode on that. Yeah, we did last. Yeah. You go check that out. Like, these even made me put it to a hypothesis. Anyway, so it's no surprise here as Montreal was the first team to basically make it clear they'd be protecting their three foundational signings and the same players they protected last year. Trio were paramount to Montreal's World Cup Championship, with Poulin winning playoff MVP and Desbian for league is nominated for league MVP and goaltender of the year. Montreal's most at-risk players now include Nicole Gosling, Natalie Malokaba, Abby Rock, Ellen Ambrose, and Hayes Kamara, I think they're all gone. Wait, bye-bye to them. They've got bye to them because they're going. Ambrose is. Oh, here he goes again! Oh, there we go. Right, Montreal's going to repeat what they did last year. I'll do the same for me. I see Ambrose easily going. Now, could she be going an EFO? I don't know. But I think she's high going to go. She's gone. She's going. As for Rock. Yeah. Abby Rock, it was an interesting trade that New York made on during last year's entry draft. Or a lot of New York trades were interesting, but it was an interesting one because we were like, a lot of time us we were kind of like, really, Montreal, you're happy you're happy to have a player like that in your locker room, really? Okay, it's your funeral. But she started in straight away, which I thought was really interesting because Montreal had a very slow start. But she clearly was making headway, so that was really impressive. I would have thought maybe she could be someone who could consider protecting if you didn't have those traits. I do believe, just like he's convinced Ambrose is going, I am convinced that Samora is going to go. Oh, no. I do. Yeah, I do. I don't think Samora is going to stay in Montreal. I think she will be taken. I mean, if I think I'd have her up there as a contender for me, who I would offer an EFO to. Because a player like that would just do wonders for an expansion team and be able to step on her own, away from the shadow of Poulin and Stacey, I think. Yeah. That would be interesting if when it happens. God, I do feel that Montreal fans just need to brace themselves because you are the World Cup champion. Everyone's going to want to target your players to be taken and come onto your team. It happened with us last year. Well, yeah, because obviously Vancouver and Seattle literally last year gouged the two teams that went to the World Cup finals, us and Ottawa. So, yeah, particularly the free agency. Yeah. And I kind of thought, well, that's a smart move, because if I was building a new roster from scratch, I would try and get a majority of the players who've just been to the finals on my team, because they know what it takes to get down and win. So, don't be surprised if Montreal is heavily targeted, because obviously the Big 12 just very recently became the first Canadian team to win the World Cup. And I think Skamoa's a high target, and I think Rock is a high target, and I think Ambrose is a high target. So, I think if we're thinking ahead to June 17 in the entry draft, which team is going to have to do the most repercussions, it's going to be Montreal. But the problem is, because Montreal are the new champions, they're probably going to go last. So, you put yourselves in a corner here, Montreal. You really have. Right, so New York Sirens. Now, we got 2 correct. We said Fillier, Carlson, and O'Neill, and 2 of those were correct. New York Simons are protected Sarah Fillier and Christina Carlton-Okaba. And their third pick was a bit of a surprise to me. It was Casey O'Brien. Yeah. Now, I can't see what New York has done here. And by the way, the Sirens are the only team who have not protected the netminder, by the way. Okay? Just that's a little spoiler alert for the remainder of the picks. Yeah. Okay? So, yeah. I was very surprised that Kate Osborne is left unprotected because they were like happy on this season, by the way, just saying. Even when we were there in Denver. Yeah. I'm never going to forget that moment when the Sirens got that third goal because I was focusing more on, because it was coming right down to the wire. We couldn't really tell because of where we were sitting, how long we had left the clock. Now, these two I was focusing more on our end. My eye was focused more on Osborne because I was thinking, oh, when's she going to go? Now, kid you not, she didn't even make it to the bench before Sirens got the third goal. That's how quick this game goes. Now, so I'm very surprised, like you, lady, I'm very surprised Osborne's not protected. It does make you wonder, if she goes, who the fuck are you going to trust in that pipe next year? Well, there you go. That's the problem I had with Osborne getting so many starts. Was, okay, do you not trust the other two players in your caliber? Well, seeing how one is a homophobe, no. And you can absolutely hold that against the boy. And the Summers fans, you have had the cheek to join in on the Brita Carsley bashing, whereas yours is as bad. Yours is as bad. Yours is just as bad. You've got someone who's an open homophobe. So I think, know what? No. Next year, if she's still on that roster, if Shanahan's still there on their roster, it's still there, we're gonna boo her every single time we get a shot put on her. Yeah. So, put Corey Carroll Black here. Okay, so you're just as bad, New York. Yeah. Yeah, so it's an interesting one. I mean, George, you haven't really been impressed, Casey. Well, I just kind of felt, right, obviously, this time last year, I named Casey O'Brien, who I thought could be the likely first to go overall in the entry draft. And I feel like for me, she hasn't really produced the numbers needed to warrant being protected in this first phase. I would have thought O'Brien would be someone who you maybe look at for phase 3. Yeah, but I do feel that if she wasn't protected, she could easily go. Well, that's the risk you take. That's the risk. I'm afraid that's the risk you have to take in this situation, because there's so much star talent on these teams. You can't with somebody, you have to try to take a risk on who you think might not have a chance of going or not. Yeah. I would have taken the risk. Clearly, you thought no. And it just, that was a bit surprised to me. I still can't believe that she's nominated for Rookie over Carlton-Okaba. Oh yeah, that surprised me. That surprised me. Yeah. I mean, Carlton-Okaba, I can understand why you would have nominated her, because but injury did kind of plague her towards the end of the season. That's why I was kind of like, maybe no. Yeah. If she didn't have that injury, then I could think, yeah, I could see an argument for her to be nominated. Then maybe she would have given Haley Wynn a run for her money, but I think that's going to be Haley Wynn's kind of easy. That's going to be her goal. Yeah. Yeah, I just think, yeah, it's so interesting because there's a lot of options you could have gone with, but I can kind of see the understanding here. So, no surprise but New York does enter the expansion process as the only existing team not to protect a netminder, leaving Kate Osborne open for selection. Instead, GM Pascal Dawes made the logical decision to protect his 3 burgeoning superstars up front in Sarah Fillier, Casey O'Brien, and Christina Carlton-Okaba. New York's biggest at-risk players alongside Osborne include defenders Micah Sandy Hart, so their captain, Miley Persons, and Jerry Birdney, alongside free agent Kristen O'Neill, who of course we just put off. The thing is, though, I know the Sirens fans have done the most panic. Yeah. Oh, they basically went to Death Cop Wars since Detroit got announced. Yep. But I'm not worried about what happens with New York because you just know when we get to the draft in a few weeks' time, they'll just replace their stock. Yeah. I think that's what's really surprised me about New York, particularly the last two seasons, so season 2 and season 3. Going into those seasons, they drafted so well. You cannot deny they won the draft each time in season 2 and season 3. Season 1, you can't really do draft winners because everyone was literally building their roster from the start. From the start. Yeah. So from the ground upwards. But in season 2 and season 3, it is clearly obvious that New York won the draft. And yet their results on the ice haven't really reflected that. And I kind of feel, I don't know if you two will agree with this, I kind of feel New York is that team who is suffering the most from expansion because they look like a team that could be built for consistency, but expansion comes in, just mucks about with the process, and you just, yeah. I think the Sirens are the only team who have gone through this and thought, let's think for the long term, not 1 year at a time, which the other GMs have done. So, it just feels like it would not surprise me to say within the next 4 or 5 years, the Sirens break through and potentially get into the playoffs and then potentially World Cup final. You're holding back from saying World Cup. I'm holding back from saying World Cup champions because I'm just not too sure if they're there yet. They're definitely a playoff team, but it's just so hard, especially with the setup the league has. You know? But I think you're right. The Sirens basically are one of those teams who have literally, they are built for the years ahead. It's just expansion is literally coming back on. So the Sirens are going to be so glad that's going to be some stability right now because they can then start executing their game plan properly, starting maybe this season. It all depends on what happens in the lot. So I'm not too worried about who the Sirens lose. Okay, but because I just know in the end of after a few weeks' time, I'll just replace the stock again. And they're very highly likely going to have their first a high draft order. Yes, we're kind of hoping that the gold plan teams go first, and then you can do whatever the fuck you like after that. Yeah. I will be very surprised if Osborne stays. Yeah, because we're thinking about net minding. Yeah, easy picking. Right now, Ottawa threw us off completely here. We only got one selection correct, and that was Guire Phillips. The other two, I think our other two picks were Emily Clark and Rory Gearday. Now, I kind of feel those were a heart over head kind of thing. Well, it's not your team, you can do that. Yeah, I just. Plus, if they both go, we get to go full on Will and Grace. Oh yeah, told you so, told you so. Yeah. So the charge actually chose protect Gwen Phillips, Roya Sabalayan, and Rebecca Leslie, and this just completely threw us off guard. Anyway. Aura took the path of securing superstar netminder Gwen Phillips, as well as their stalwart defender Roya Sabalayan and hometown hero Rebecca Leslie. It leaves their offense open to selection for siding, including Captain Brianne Jenner, Emily Clark, Roy Gearday, oh no, and Katerina Barazova. They're all gone. But now, Charge fans, question for you. If Brianne Jenner goes, why are you antagonising them? No, it's a serious question. If Brianne Jenner goes, does that mean Tess and Julia's ban gets officially lifted? because she won't be on the team anymore, so I don't think you got. I love how you got consideration for our fellow podcasters. Well, it's a serious question. I know. It's interesting, isn't it, how for this year's World Cup ceremony, Tessa didn't lead it. No, she led the first two. And yet, and Tessa, they were there in the building for the podcast afterwards, which was very, very potty-mouthed. What was the big small drinking beforehand? Got them so sweary. We didn't have that last year when High C and Zumwinkle came on. Or Step. So, anyway. Yeah, no, Tessa didn't lead it. No. So it's like, ooh. Yeah. I think she's going. What? Yeah. Oh, lady. Sorry. No, going. She's going. Gone. Because I think, like how we've left Kettle protect vulnerable, I think Des is one of those players you think, oh, yes, please, I'll have her. Oh, yes, please. Alex Fantasy would chomp with a bit to have her. A player like that, even though you know she's probably going to be someone who might be one of those who's going to be finishing a career, but will not be good. If I was a player at that point in my career, I'd think, oh, would it be nice to maybe finish off by helping to set up the foundation for a new team? Yeah, I can see the appeal of that. Yeah, I really could. Yeah, I really can see the appeal of that. Yeah. Question is, which team? Which team is the question? Yeah, which team? Now, Roy Day is someone I've been praising a lot this year. I kind of felt that she could have been a good nominee. Well, she would have been one of my nominees for Rookie of the Year. I feel she's got a lot of room to grow. I'm so surprised Ottawa didn't want to protect her. You know, it's just crazy. And if I was one of those expansion teams, I would be literally moving Gilday right to the top of my target list. Maybe not an EFO, but definitely up there's one of my top 5 I want on my target list. Emily Clark! Guys! Emily Clark is up for grabs here. She's going. No way can you protect her. She's going. She's gone. She's out. She's out that door. What are Charge thinking? Yeah. That's so much offense. That's what blows me away. Because what did the Charge struggle with at the start of the season? Offense. They struggled massively in the offense department. Then they turned it around the second half. So, again, Charge are going to be the exact same issue they were next season they were last. You go in there, having lost the finals, so much to prove, so much unfinished business, even more unfinished business now. Especially as actually did perform well in 2016, did in 2025. Oh, the shot's fired! The shots are fired! That's saying. Oh, the shots are fired. Yeah. I'm so... Oh my god. If Emily Clark and Roy Gilday do go, along with Jenna, I think we all got to take her to do Will and Grace. Well, George's already got that nailed for 2. It's one of my favourite gags from the show. I love Will and Grace. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I actually didn't discover it till the revival a few years ago. Because obviously I would have been a bit too young when Will and Grace first started. I would have been about what, 2? Yeah. No. Yeah. 1998. No. Yeah. Yep. 1998. That's when Will and Grace came out. 1998. 10 years women being allowed in the Olympics for hockey. That was a great year, wasn't it? 1998, wasn't it? It was a great year. Particularly with a lot of pop culture. So I heard about when the Bible was coming out, and I do love it. Name favorite character, go. Favorite character? Will. There you go. Yeah. But I just love that gag, the Toy Story gag. I love that. Yeah, I've got that down to a T. Yeah. Yeah, well, we can all have a go at doing it. But yeah, so that's so surprising. Ottawa just completely threw us. Another team that kind of threw people off was Seattle, because again, we only got one name correct, and that was Alex Carpenter. I'll just remind you, on our list, we fought a lot of young guns. we had, I think, did we have Gosling? Sadakny. Sadakny was one of them, yeah. Daniel Sadakny was one of them, and then the other was... Yeah, so we had Daniel Sadakny and Hannah Bilker down, yeah, along with Alex Hart on our protection list. Because I think we were kind of thinking, you know, they can afford to protect either Knight or Carpenter. You can't have both. So when Alex Carpenter was the first to be signed, I thought, oh, I know what's going to happen here. Don't you dare. Run, 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 run. Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Lay that gag to rest, lady. It's not funny. Lay that to rest. Yeah. Now, Torrent officially protected Carpenter along with, and I bet, and Pluto, you're just literally just smug here. I told you. No, you are literally just smug as fuck right now. You really are, because you said to protect Murphy and we didn't listen to you. Yeah, so Seattle chose to protect Alex Carpenter, Hannah Murphy, and Anna Wilgren. Now, I think Murphy and Wilgren are a bit of surprises there, given how you've got the likes of Knight, Bilker, Kaya Bars as well. A lot of firepower up for grabs, but yeah. So, no team surprised more than the Seattle Torrent. Signing Alex Carpenter wasn't a shock, but leaving many of their stars, like Tara Bilker and Kaya Barnes, open to selection, as well as Captain Henry Knight, unprotected, did raise eyebrows. Instead, they protected rookie goaltender Hannah Murphy and defender Anna Wilgren. It also exposes goalie Green Schroeder and forwards Julia Gosling and Daniel Stackney. Yeah. So I'm going to let you explain the Murphy. Yeah. Well, like how you have been really impressed with regular this year, George, I, in the first few weeks of the season, was really impressed with Hannah Murphy. She was a huge factor in helping Seattle to get off to a very good start. And I kind of thought, ooh, could she be a surprise candidate for Rookie of the Year? Yeah. But her numbers did kind of fall the second half, though. Yeah. And towards the end of the season, they relied more on Schroeder than they did Murphy. Yeah. Even when they didn't really have much to lose because they were never going to make playoffs, but at the same time, Gold Club was also going to lie. Yeah. It's such a weird position to be in when you get to that point of the season because technically, when you get knocked out, you don't really have anything to lose, but you can't also take at the same time. Do you want to have a really good chance of getting that first overall pick? So it's kind of a bit of a weird situation. Yeah. And clearly, Seattle are thinking long term. Long term, we want to be a competitive team that can actually get to the playoffs. Then we're going to need to think about the long term and lean on those young guns. So Hannah Murphy was them. Give her more time, she easily could be a good netminder. So I'm very pleased with that. But Wilgren, bit of a shock. Yeah. But the thing is, though, you didn't fight hard enough. Right. When it came to protection, you didn't really fight hard enough to put Hannah Murphy on. You basically conceded. I was kind of like, well, if she gets to phase 3, we'll put her on there. You didn't really fight hard enough. So you can be smug as you like about that, yeah, you knew that we should have protected that most should be protected, but you didn't fight hard to put on the list. Well, I think we all were in that position. Yeah, it was kind of a compromise you made. Because I think all of us at some point in that episode had to compromise to allow us to just move on to the next team, and that was pretty much your compromise you made. Because I don't think you had any worries about going, did you? No, well, you don't need to know. Yeah, I think that third pick, I'd have gone maybe Sadakny, Barnes, or Bilker, one of those three. So, how many think are going to go? At least 2. I don't want to dare say which 2. You've also got Gosling there as well. No. Yeah. Both Goslings are up for grabs, aren't they? Oh, let's go get Gosling. Yeah. I just know. Do we think Knight will go again? Do you think Knight will go again, or will Seattle get lucky? It's a tough one. Yeah, it's a really tough. It's a tough one to call. I don't want to call it. Well, there is a lot of high quality talent Seattle's got. Maybe it's fantasy might think we'll go for someone like Barnes or Sadakny or Belka and not Bob with Knight. They could. They could get lucky, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But that was just, yeah, that was interesting. And it kind of felt when Carter got announced, you kind of thought, yeah, I know what's going to happen here. Knight's not going to get protected again. But I think this year it kind of makes sense compared to last year. Last year, I was just taking I was blindsided about that, whereas this year kind of feels like, yeah. Right! Scepters are next. Now, the Scepters were really interesting because they've got a lot of firepower that needs to be protected, but... and we got 2 correct. The third was a bit of a curveball. I'll just remind you who we protected. So we put on our list, we put Kirk, Fast, and Malte. And the Scepters did protect both Reagan Kirk and Renata Fast. But T.O. Fast are really excited at that. Their third protection was Ella Shelton, which we were like, ooh! No. No. Bye-bye, Daryl Watts! Yep. You said like, Watts is gone. Watts is gone! She's gone! She's gone! She's gone! She's gone! She's gone! She's going! She's gone! Yeah. No way are they going to... Is Daryl Watts saying, no way, she's going. Bye-bye. What do you EFO her? Yeah. Oh, you would! You would! Yeah. You would. So you would use your EFO on Watts? Like that, absolutely. I just want to talk about Renata Fast, yeah, because I just feel like that was such a moment in your TO, because everyone's been talking about how, oh, she deserves to get paid, she's not been being paid her work. Well, excuse me, boys and girls. Go on, lady. That goes to the camera. Goes to the cameras. I mean, it's a goes to the camera moment. Every player in the PHL deserves to get paid. Period. Conversation period. That's why she's put a period on it tonight. Tampax on standby, girls. or telelays, whatever it is you use. Anyway, yeah. But I just kind of felt if Tia did not protect her, that's it. She's going. And I think Hamilton was an interesting. I was kind of thinking if Renata Fast wasn't protected, I was kind of thinking, yeah, I think Pietro Hamilton would use their EFO on her to try and lure a homegrown talent there. I think they would have used it on her. So that's a big loss for Hamilton, but for Tio, it's a huge sigh of relief. Because do you really want to give that rivalry even more reasons to be more bloodthirsty? I don't think so. But, well, it still could happen. Still, yeah. Whoa, yeah. But it's just a huge lead. And I'm not surprised Megan Kirk got protected, because let's face it, he was a big reason why they were to be competitive last year. How many times did we watch Tia games this past season and I kept saying, where's the support for Reagan Kirk? You did. I was like, why are you not supporting your netminder? Because she is minded to keep you in a lot of these games. Why are you not going out there supporting her? But defenders, do your job. You know? So, I'm not surprised that Reagan Kirk's been protected. I mean, with Tio, they've got 2 rock squad netminders in Reagan Kirk and Tuesday. It's just they don't know how to use them. No. Well, because Troy Ryan refused to admit that he was in a tandem situation. Because obviously Tio, this past season was like us. They have a tandem. It's just whereas we Minnesota know how to use our tandem, Tio didn't. They didn't want to admit they had a tandem. So, God help PHL Zaze if you get a tandem. Because Troy Ryan, he just won't use it. He just won't even acknowledge it exists. So, God help you guys. Really I do. God help you. Yeah. And I think we all do wonder what would happen, in 2025 if Megan Kirk hadn't been injured. How would she have fared in those playoffs? Would she manage to get Tia over the line and all that? Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, obviously for me, Megan Kirk immediately thinking, nah, she's not going anywhere. You get rid of her. What are you gonna do then for that, Maya? What are you gonna do then? What are you gonna do then? What are you gonna do then? But I'm so surprised that Shelton's gone off the board and protected. Yeah, because that was the trade that really shocked Pluto last year. Because all out of the trade out of the draft board, that was one where you keeled over. You were not seeing that coming. And I don't know if Shelton had done enough to warrant getting protected over the likes of Blair Turnbull, Molte, Darryl Watts. I could go on. I could go on. I just don't. No. That would be like if New York chose to protect Anissa Shishiba over the likes of, say, Sarah Fier. Sarah Fier or Casey Bright. So did I mix the two Sarahs up? So it's been a long day. So should I start again? Yeah. That would be like basically Europe choose to protect Anissa Shishiba over the likes of, say, Casey Bright or Sarah Fier. It'd be madness. Yeah. It'd be complete madness. But okay. So Toronto was negotiating to keep Captain Blair Turnbull and superstar for Darryl Watts, but didn't get those deals done. They protected goaltender Megan Kirk by signing the second-year goalie who finished near the top, actually, of the PHL standings in all statistical categories, and also signed Renata Vast, PHL's inaugural Defender of the Year. Their third protection was defender. I nearly said defense there, but of course that would be wrong. Defender Shelton, who they acquired last season at the draft. It does leave Turnbull, Watts, Jesse Comfort, Kay Fagan, and others exposed. I'm going to say it now. Bye-bye Watts, bye-bye Molte, bye-bye Turnbull. All gone. I'm calling it now. All gone. Those are ripe for the picking. All of them right there. All gone. All gone. Right there. Right there then. I think Watts is definitely going. I just don't know who. Because I think I could easily see any of those 4 teams target her for an EFR. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? But she may be done by Hamilton. We're going to be so hated by the team. It just, for me, it just feels like, when you're that close to one of your nearest rivals, wouldn't you not want to take the opportunity to go, ah, and take one of their big players and lock them in? Because I would. Yeah, well, you're evil. You're an evil, wicked bastard, so of course you would. Of course you would do it. Yeah. You're not even ashamed by that. You're not that. You know full well you're being recorded right now. You're not even gonna just try and cheaply deny it. You're just like, yeah. Well, most men don't admit to their faults, and I'm completely opposite. So there you go. But I was, if I was in Hamilton's position, would be looking across the board and thinking, right, who from Gina Kingsbury could I take that would give her the most misery? Interesting. Keep an eye on that in the next few days. Yeah. Toronto, you just have not learnt your lesson from last year, have you? Not learned your lesson from last year. Right, now fire Vancouver. Now, I don't think we thought this one through properly at all. I don't think we thought it through properly at all, because we all agreed, Eris Mashmeyer, yes, protect her at all costs. Then after that, we just went completely left field. In fact, we suggested Jen Gardner and Abby Marine on our protection list. And guess what? Neither of those two have actually been protected. Well, I think again, we were thinking, young, new team, young, you want focus long term. Those would be two good financial players long term. But, yeah, we should have known better. We should have known better. So the Golden Knights chose to protect Emma Smashmeyer, Sarah Nurse, and Sophie Jakes, basically giving two big one-ups to both the Minnesota Frost and the Toronto Raptors for not protecting those players this time last year. We think we should have zagged! Yep, we think we should have zagged! What's Sheena Kingsbury's excuse? He hasn't got one. Yep. Right, so let's do Smashmeyer first. Anne Smashmeyer, when she was picked by Vancouver in the exclusive sign window, we kind of looked and thought, okay, that's who the guy that's going to have as their starting netminder. Totally not her. And she kind of has been seen as a starting minder. Krista Campbell's only been giving her a look every now and then, especially when Smashmeyer had that injury that took her out for quite a fair bit. Which you could also argue maybe that played an impact why Vancouver couldn't get to those high expectations they had going into the season. Just saying, maybe. But yeah, so I'm really pleased that she is going to be protected again, because I think obviously this time last year we were expecting her to be taken, but of course my first is main name for herself in the latter half. Yeah. So what can you do there? So I'm really glad that this time she's been protected. So basically, Vancouver basically got, right, who screwed up the most last year with their protections, and think, right, Paula, Theo, and Minnesota, right? Abbott! Where's Potato? Abbott! Well, we didn't do that bad. It's just we, of course, think we should have said. Jakes was on our list. Yeah, she was on our list, but we knew with hindsight that it might not work out. So we were prepared. It's just the way it felt. Yeah. The way it felt. So really glad for that. I'm really glad that Sarah Jakes has been protected because I just don't. I'm quite surprised that Jakes has been given a nomination in the awards this year, because I'm not sure she's really had as productive a season this year than she had last year. You know, I think it's taken her quite a while to try and find her feet in Vancouver, which is interesting because obviously Claire Thompson went with her. So you would have thought those two would easily put no problem, but it's been a bit of a tough call for her to get used to it. So I'm quite glad she's been protected, because that gives her an opportunity to then basically build what she's done this year and improve next year. And Vancouver needed Sarah Nurse. They needed Sarah Nurse. You could feel her. You knew her injury was a big impact on the Golden Knights. It was a huge impact. So they needed a player like Sarah Nurse. So I'm not surprised at all. I bet she sees thoroughly, because it was nasty what Theo did last year, not protecting her. Oh yeah, it was nasty the way they handled it. So I'm so pleased for her to be protected. Yeah. So Vancouver opened their protections, signing Sarah Nurse to a 2-year deal, and they ride out their picks with defender Sophie Jakes and netminder Emma Smashmeyer. It does leave Ashton Bell to Teresa Zoba. Little bit spicy. She'll do well in Las Vegas. What? They love Roggins. Go and ask Chance. Actually, no, don't ask Chance. No, don't ask Chance. Don't ask Chance. Oh, God. I can't believe how bad you were on game 1. Where did that aggression come from? Do you really want to go there on a women? Do you really want to talk about this on a women's hockey podcast? Didn't think so. Oh shit! Game 2's tonight. Oh, I said to Teresa I'd watch it. Yeah. I said to Sarisa, I will watch the first 2 games, but then depending on how that goes, not so much. He knows if it goes to 7, we can't watch Game 7 because Game 7 is the exact same day as our entry draft. But I just, oh God, oh give me strength, give me strength. Oh God, right. Yeah, it needs Ashton Bell, Teresa Rozoba, Hannah Miller, and Jen Gardner, or up there among others that could be taken. That'd be interesting. Right. Oh, I can't call it. And who's gonna go? Yeah, I think we said this going into the start of the process. I mean, Vancouver and Seattle was always gonna be so tricky because they only just joined this time last year. Whereas PWHL 6, you kind of got an idea of who could potentially be on offer. But with Vancouver and Seattle, it's so hard because they only just joined this time last year. They've not had as productive seasons as they would have liked to. But yeah, with Vancouver, I can't call it. I'm going to go with you. So if lady, you can call, say a player now, or hold your peace. It's so tricky. It's so tricky. Oh, I don't know. I think with Vancouver, there's gonna be lots of ahs. Yeah, because this could be shocking. And I do mean really shocking. Really shocking. It could be. Brace yourselves, kids. This could be a bloodbath. But they went smart. They went smart. So again, another reason for me to praise Vancouver. Yeah. And at least they went smart with their protections, whereas Seattle, what the hell? What were you? Really? You go that route? Okay. Brace yourselves to get slacked off. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Okay, so that's it. So that is all of the protections that have been made across the 8 16 teams. So we now move on to phase 2, which of course is going to start tomorrow. So from 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, June the 5th, that's 5 p.m. here in the UK, phase 2 will begin. And Lady's pretty much described it as what his time window was this time last year. Yeah. Basically, what's going to happen in phase 2 is each of the 4 expansion teams, so Detroit, Las Vegas, Hamilton, San Jose, they will all sign 5 foundational signings. So basically, it's like this time window. But here is the big difference between last year and this year. Go for it. Last year, Vancouver and Seattle, it was basically like a pick and mix at your local City World. What that one? Oh, stuck on that! Put that down the ball with the paper bag. Put in my gob. That is so vulgar. He's basically okay. No, that's sexual. No, stop that. That's sexual. Stop that. Basically, what you'd be with a Mr. Whipping Machine, George. Put him in goal. Stop the ball. Stop that! I'm trying to explain it's the boys and girls. Stop being vulgar. No, right? God's sake. Okay. Whereas last year, Vancouver could have gone for whatever they like. This year, the 4 expansion teams can only choose from players on their target list. Yes, and that's the key factor there. So the target lists, which are supposed to be submitted by 3 p.m. Eastern, so in less than an hour's time now. Now, it's gone 7 o'clock! Yeah, it's just now gone. 7:05. Right. Yeah, this episode took us an hour to do. Yes, it's just gone 7:05. So less than an hour from now, the target list has to be submitted. We'll see if they get published by the end of the day. If not, we'll see what happens. Yeah. So you can, so the expansion can only choose from what's on their target list, and the offers come into play. Yep. Reminder, each expansion team gets 1 EFO to use. And remember, if a player is given an EFO, they must sign. Okay? The EFO is kind of the nasty contract, because you get given that contract, you cannot back out. You have to sign it. You can't pass it up. You've got to sign. The only caveat is if more than one team does that, then you get to choose. Yeah, but it's recent. It's not like that. Yeah. So phase 2 begins tomorrow, and it will run until I think it's 1 p.m. Eastern on Monday. So basically, between now and between Friday and Monday, it's basically going to be just keep an eye on the socials, because literally news could drop at any time. At any time, a siding could be announced, and it could be just whoop. Yeah, because literally, right, this is something last year. It's pretty much, at random points of the day, especially with time differences here between the UK and the States and Canada. Literally, at various times, it's like, oh, there's another one. Basically, like, context. You know what show man's eye? Yeah, but Pluto is the only show I could think of to do that metaphor with. But he's got his phone in his hand right now. Exactly. So literally at any point you could see that a side could be announced by any of the teams between Friday and Monday. We will be back on Tuesday. We will be back on Tuesday to do our recap of phase 2. We might have an episode for you tomorrow going through the target list, because if the target list get published before we go to 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, then I think we could maybe think about doing an episode where we just come up and talk through the target list and who's on it and who we would give an EFO to if us three were in that position. Yeah. So we might do that. We'll see how it goes. We have got lots of other episodes we need to get done as well. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what we're in the mood for tomorrow. We're basically we're not recording stuff for these next few weeks. We're basically just playing it by ear. So there's lots of other content we could get done, but it's like, well, yeah. So just yeah. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So you might get 2 episodes tomorrow. You might get 1. There is an episode already planned to be published tomorrow. You might get a second one later in the evening. Because that's what's going to be throughout the expansion process. Is on Sundays you might get a second episode drop in your feeds in the evening, because it'll be what we just recorded. Like how today this one's gonna drop, not afterwards. Afterwards, we already had an episode published today, but this will then drop later on. With all the recap episodes, we're gonna publish them immediately after we record them. So after we record each recap episode of each phase, I will then just go straight to post-production and get it published into your feeds straight away. That's how it will work. So the next recap episode we'll be on Tuesday. That will be for phase 2, and that's also going to be a respite day, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. Phase 3 begins June the 10th, and that takes us to June the 12th, and then the question mark is, when do we then do the recap? The recap for phase 3 probably isn't going to be till June the 15th. So when we get to pretty much the start of phase 4, phase 4. That'll be the end of phase 4, won't it? Yeah, because phase 4 then starts on June the 14th. Yeah. Okay, we'll keep it there. If you follow me on Blue Sky, you'll know when because I'm on Blue Sky. Because what I did today, I posted a quick teaser saying that later on we're going to record this episode. So if you follow me on Blue Sky, you'll be able to know when we're kind of teaser we're going to record the recap for each phase. So phase 2's recap will be coming to you on Tuesday. I'm basically going to be spent all weekend glued to my phone. For the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and obviously Friday, Monday as well, when we're not busy recording here. So it's gonna be interesting. And what we're gonna do for that episode is we're gonna do it team by team. We're gonna do it team by team. So we'll do Detroit first, then we'll do Las Vegas, then we'll do Houston, then we'll do Zaze. We're gonna do it in the order that they've had their press conferences. So that's how we're gonna do it. I know how to Las Vegas announced the same day, but how does press conference have the day after Vegas? So that's gonna work. Yeah. Yeah, because technically Vegas is team 10 and Hamilton's team 11. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, that works. Anyway. So we might be recording episode tomorrow. We can look at the target lists. If not, then you'll just wait till Tuesday. We're going to have our thoughts on. Oh, yeah. Brace. Yeah. So there you go. So that is our thoughts on phase 1. Some shockers there. Some teams really did throw us for 6s there, but most of them not too shocking. And who would have thought? Once again, I'm gonna have to compare it to last year because I showed that before we came up with it. I thought, someone gets stuck in. Yeah. I'm gonna have to compare it to last year because we got so many right last year. Yeah. But well, again, we're on a roll. Yeah. You say that now, but watch as we do the phase 3 and go, oh well. Downhill. Wow, I think it'd be hard because obviously you've got to remember who's already been protected, who's already been taken. There's left. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll see. Will we even get time to do phase 3 protection lists? Maybe not an episode, but we can maybe do it as an Instagram thing. Right, we'll look at that. Yeah, because phase 2 ends on the Monday. We're then going to do a recap of phase 2 on the Tuesday. The next quarter day would then have that week would be Thursday when phase 3 is well underway. So, right, you might not get an episode, but we'll do lists. Anyway. So there you go. So that is our thoughts on what happened in phase 1 of the 2026 roster building process of expansion teams. Next up is phase 2. So 1 phase down, 4 or 3 to go, depending on if you count phase 6 as a phase or not. So anyway, but look after yourselves, guys. Yeah, because it's still a long way to go. So do please look after yourselves mentally. Take care, guys. And until next time, don't forget to follow me.